a lot of times women, we have so many unrealistic expectations. Do I believe that God is really, and he knows our hearts and our desire? Do I really believe that God is going to wait forever for you to get married if that's always been something that you wanted? Also knowing that there is such thing as a biological clock. Also knowing that as you get older, it becomes harder to have a child. Also knowing that if you want the future generations to go on, it's best to get married younger and to have a child younger. No, I just think, a lot of times maybe women we're so stuck on modern society. We have IVF treatments. We have all these things that can dictate when we do things, unlike we did back in the day where we really had to rely on our biology and doing things at a certain time, that sometimes maybe some women just feel like I have all the time in the world before I want to have a child. I have all the time in the world before I want to do this and do that. If the concept of soulmates is real, then what about when you guys have really tough times or he does something that you do not like? Is it time to divorce? Because if you're soulmates and he's perfect and everything is great, then you should be able to get through those hard times. So if he were to do something to you or if you found out he did something that was just unbecoming of him, you would be shattered. And I just think soulmates makes people think that there are people who are super perfect and they're just perfect in everything. It makes people look like little gods in a way. That's my soulmate. That person can never do any wrong. God gives us free will. He will present certain people in our lives, and it is up to us to decide if we are going to accept that person or not. Hi wives, hi future wives, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you always are up to date. Also, have you received my free The Wife Mindset Guide? Click the link in my bio to receive it. Also, you will be instantly a part of the emailing list and you will be updated on all the things that I have going on. I'm excited because I have a lot going on, or at least planned, God willing, for this year for you guys. Also, I have a Cashapp, Proverbs 31 University. If you feel led to donate, definitely do so. But anyways, God bless you. I hope you are well. I want to talk about the concept of soulmates.
Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream? Or are you really as wonderful as you seem?
This is a concept that I'm just giving my opinion, but I really feel like this is something women probably made up. We are so into the love and lovey-dovey, which is nothing wrong with that. That's great. But, people want to say, I have to have a soulmate, or I can't wait for my soulmate to find me, or I know I'm soulmates with someone. And reading lots of romance novels and books is really put a lot of women in that mindset or that mind frame that, I have to find the soulmate, or I have a soulmate. And I'm here to say that I don't believe in soulmates. I do not.
What?
Now, do I believe that there is someone out there for every woman that is the best for you? Yes. But I also believe it's a choice. For example, let's go back to Genesis in the good book.
Let's go way back.
So God made Adam, and at one point he realized that it's not good for man to be alone. So he made these animals and realized that Adam couldn't really do anything with the animals. Like, yes, Adam could form, bonds with animals like we would do our pets and things like that. But to do what really needed to be done, God realized Adam can't do nothing. And he realized I can't do nothing with these animals. So then he made Eve. A part of his rib, took his rib out and made Eve. And then when God showed him, remember, God paraded Eve around to him. So God made Eve, but then he showed Eve to him. And at that point, he had a choice. Am I going to accept this or not? See, we forget that God gives us free will. God literally gives us free will. And he doesn't want robot lovers. I heard someone say that. God doesn't want robot lovers. He wants you to love him for real. He wants you to seek him because you want to, etc. So when people say things like, oh, I have, soulmate, I just don't believe that. I do believe that God will put people or a person in your path or in your life that he has made for you, but it's still up to you to decide if you want that person, if you accept that person. It's just like, it's like some people or some women who like to friend zone certain dudes. These guys who are usually friend zoned are probably the best husband material, right? But a lot of these women who do this, they keep them on the side. So just in case their current relationships don't work out, they can always go to that male friend that's in the corner. Meanwhile, that male friend really wants to be with that woman. But in order to keep the friendship and the possibility of them actually getting together one day, he will just continue being in the friend zone and not really express how he feels.
Nice guys finish last.
And I believe a lot of women who put men in the friend zone like that, they know that that man likes them. We know women, we have great intuition for the most part. We just a lot of times ignore it. But we know if a man is really trying to be a friend or if he wants something else.
She knows. God knows she knows.
And a lot of times we can take advantage of those men until maybe later on in life we're done playing around, messing around, getting our heart broken by the men that we actually want. And then we start seeing that man that has always been there in the friend zone as, you know what, he's the safe choice. He's been around. I'm going to be with him. Meanwhile, what if God put that man in your path and he always was the one that you should have been with, but now you, Eureka, finally see. And I just don't think that's right because you're wasting that man's time. Because a lot of times women, we would hate if a man is wasting our time.
I'm not playing with you. I want my eggs cracked, meaning I want a child. I want my name dropped, meaning I want to be married.
So don't waste that man's time. If you know you're not into that man, just say, hey, there's never going to be a relationship here. Let's cut it off. We're not going to, I don't see you that way and I'm never going to see you that way. But don't wait 20, 30, 40, 10 years down the line after you done got your heart broken so many times. And now you're like, oh, let me be with you. Because that's wrong. And I feel like that's treating him like sloppy seconds. That's really what it is. But just like Adam had the choice to be with Eve, when he saw Eve, when God brought Eve to him, he said, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Basically, he said, this is what I need to do what I need to do. This is my helpmate. This is who is going to help me be fruitful and multiply, take care of things, grow in life, produce, children, etc., etc.
Amen.
This is the one. And that was his choice. And so I think love or relationships, it is more so about choice than it is about, some supernatural phenomenon. Now, can something supernatural happen where God sends a man in your life and you just feel like he's perfect and all this stuff? Yes. But I'm going to tell you something. Marriage is going to bring out the truth. Meaning once you get married, you're going to see sides of him that you did not know. And I'm not saying sides in things that's going to make you want to divorce him, but things that's going to make you like, wow, I didn't realize it, because you were under the cloud of, you were wearing rose-colored glasses. You were like, oh, we have so much in common. Oh, he's so handsome and attentive and attractive and whatever. And so I don't believe in soulmates, but I do believe that there is a mate that God has for everyone, and you have to make the choice. For example, I always say there's someone for everyone. I truly believe it. I have seen TV shows and the most oddest couples ever. A woman who's like 6 feet tall with a guy who's like 5 feet and they're together. I've seen a super obese woman. Come on, 600-pound life, you guys. Why is it that a whole bunch of women on that show, they're like 600 pounds, but they're all married. They all have a man. And you're telling me you cannot find a man and you're waiting on God to send you a man when these women are morbidly obese and they have a man. I'm not saying that their marriage is perfect, but they have a man.
She's got a point. She's an icon.
What's your excuse? No, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen the oddest couples. And so I know for a fact that there is someone for everyone. I just think a lot of times men and women, standards can be way too high. Our standards, and I'm not saying, when I say having high standards, I'm not talking about core values like he needs to know Jesus or she needs to know Jesus. Be polite, be respectful, those kind of things. But I'm talking about stuff that really doesn't really matter, especially in today's modern times and world. Okay, where it's not a hunter-gatherer phase where, you're going to war and you need a man to protect you and you need this and that. No, I mean, does a man really have to be 6 feet? Well, according to stats, there's not a lot of men in America that are actually 6 feet tall. Does a man have to be a certain race for you to take him seriously? Does a man have to have a degree? Does a man have to do that? Can he show you that he's competent in other ways because maybe he's a business owner or he's a manager or he's just very smart? There's other ways to know if a man is smart and competent and capable outside of him having a degree. Does he have to have the perfect complexion and say all the right things? I think those kinds of standards are what holds a lot of women back from finding the right one. Embracing the one God has for you. Because again, sometimes God doesn't always give us what we want, but what we need. And so I just believe that if you're someone who believes in soulmates, I'm not chastising you or rebuking you. I'm just saying I personally don't believe in it because I believe it's a choice, just like everything. And a lot of women are lonely, in my opinion, because God has brought somebody to you a long time ago, but you turned them down because of some superficial thing. Not because of some super red flag that was important, but because some superficial thing.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
For example, there was a woman who put out this book, and I believe she was like a dating coach or a psychologist or something. I've actually posted a clip of her video before in one of my videos called Black Women, Is This Why You're Not Married? She basically said that there was a survey that said majority of women had like super long lists of what they wanted in a man. A man had maybe 2 or 3 things that they want in a woman in order for them to ask for a second date. She has to be cute. She has to be nice, respectful, something like that. But women were like, had a whole list of things that have to go right in order for them to want and desire a second date.
The book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% to the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers and divorce
lawyers. What did they say?
And, the thing is, we're too picky about the things that don't matter at all for long-term romantic happiness, but we're not picky enough about the things that actually do matter.
And so I just think a lot of times women, we have so many unrealistic expectations. Maybe some women just feel like I have all the time in the world before I want to have a child. I have all the time in the world before I want to do this and do that. And don't anyone out there try to mention Abraham and Sarah or Elizabeth and John and people in the Bible where they were old and having kids.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Because those were miracles. Remember, women were not having kids at those ages. That's why those stories made it into the Bible. That's why those stories were miracles. Okay? Because yes, God will bless you in your old age to have a child, but that's something rare. Do I think that's what God really wants for every woman or most women who desire children? No. For them to be like over 40 and up to have children? No, because it's difficult. Kids are lots of energy. They have a lot going on, and you need to be able to keep up with them. So having children younger is better. Also, when you have children at a certain age that's a lot older, you can have lots of complications that you may not have when you're 25, 23, maybe 28 years old, 30 years old having a child. So don't use those Bible stories because those were miracles. The reason why they were called miracles is because they were a miracle. Women back then were not having babies that old. And I don't believe that's how God wants things to do, because God says he wants us to be fruitful and multiply. In Jeremiah 29, not 11, but in Jeremiah 29, he was telling the Israelites that, hey, y'all going to be captive in Babylon, but this is what y'all need to do. Y'all need to get married. Y'all need to have children. Y'all need to be fruitful and multiply. Start your businesses. Do everything here. Do what you need to do here. Well, you can't do all that stuff if you're like at a super older age is what I'm saying. So can you do it? Yes, but is it going to be difficult? Yeah, it's most likely going to be difficult if we're just looking at the reality here. So I personally don't believe God makes people wait or women wait years and years and years and forever to find the right one. I think God has probably already sent the right person to you, and for whatever reason it just didn't work out because you just weren't privy to it, or your standards were too high. And if that's you, that's fine. Repent, tell God you're sorry, see if that person is still available. If not, he'll send someone else, you know. But yeah, I just don't believe in soulmates. I think love is a choice. And I just think soulmates puts people in a perfection, makes people think that there are people who are super perfect and they're just perfect in everything. It makes people look like little gods in a way. That's my soulmate. That person can never do any wrong. And then when reality hits that, oh, that person gambled away half our life savings, or, oh, that person cheated on me, had an affair, or, oh, that person is sick and can't do certain things anymore. Then it's like, well, what happened to that soulmate? Is that person still a soulmate in your eyes when life hits? So I think love is a choice, just like we choose to follow Christ, just like God chose, he made the choice to die on the cross for us. Because remember, in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was like, I don't want to do this, but not my will, your will. So he made that choice to continue on the path. I think a lot of things we do in life are choices. And sometimes we just like to say stuff like, this is a soulmate, or this is, a supernatural occurrence or whatever. I guess so we don't have to hold ourselves accountable for reality when it hits. I don't know. But if you still believe in soulmates, great. I just don't. And I would caution you ladies on doing that, because I don't want you to miss out on a great man that God has really have for you as a husband, because he's not everything that you thought a soulmate would be, or everything that you thought or had on your list. If you enjoy what you heard or watched, please consider subscribing to my channel. More content updates coming very, very soon. God bless.